Hey sales reps, Kristie Jones here, author of Selling Your Way In. I want to share with you today a piece of the book that I call Lessons to Sell By. There are 3 of them, and I'd like to share them with you today in hopes that maybe they'll make a difference for you. The first lesson is, your circle matters. I want you to bring into your life the smartest, most successful people with the highest character that match your value system to surround yourself with and learn from. I truly believe that, as Jim Rohn says, you'll be as successful as the 5 closest people to you. The other phrase that we all love and have heard before is, if you're the smartest person in the room, then you're in the wrong room. Make sure that you're surrounding yourself with people that'll make you better as a person and maybe as a salesperson. But I think the most important piece there is making you a better person. People come into your life for different reasons. I call them seasons, reasons, and lifetimes. And it's okay sometimes to release back into the wild people whose time has passed for you, who maybe don't have anything to offer or aren't supportive of the path that you're going down. It's okay. Release those back into the wild so that you've got room in your life for people who are going to continue to help you be a better person, challenge your way of thinking, and most importantly, support you in your endeavors and your journey. Lesson 2 of Lessons to Sell By is do the right thing and the right things will happen. This is a Kristieism. If you've been around me, you hear this one all the time. But what does it mean? Well, for me, I have 30 minutes for everyone. For me, being able to give myself to people for 30 minutes, no matter what it is that they need from me, and most of the time it's professional, is my way of giving back. And I feel like if I am always available and giving back, then I will get back in return. So pick up the phone when that friend that you know will talk your ear off for an hour calls. Go ahead and mentor somebody that you think might benefit from your wisdom or your years of experience. And you know what? When somebody looks nice, tell them so. You never know what people are going through and what a kind word from you can do to make a difference, maybe in that hour, maybe in that day, or maybe in their life. Okay, here we go. Lesson number 3, the final lesson of Lessons to Sell By. When the universe speaks, listen. Here's a personal story. I grew up in a family that owned a real estate company. My dad was an owner-broker. My mom was one of the top sales reps in the city. And as a result of that, I would tell anybody who listened that I am never going to own my own company. It was a really hard life for my parents, and sometimes a hard life for my brother and me. Sometimes my dad wasn't taking a salary to make payroll. Sometimes my dad wasn't taking a salary to pay my mother's quarterly taxes. And buyers like to come in and look at houses in the evening and on the weekends. And so my mom wasn't around a lot at nights or weekends. So I thought owning my own business was the worst idea ever for me and for anybody who would listen. And then one day something really unexpected happened. I lost my job. This was a job I loved, the company that I thought I could be successful at, that I knew was going places. I'd hired the entire sales department from scratch. Every one of those people I had personally hired. I hadn't inherited anybody. Sales leaders very rarely get to do this. But as I went out to start to look for my next opportunity, I started to network with a lot of different people. One of the people that I networked with happened to be a general manager at a VC firm here in St. Louis. When I met him for lunch, I really didn't have any expectations other than networking and making a new contact. I thought maybe perhaps he would know about a VP of sales job that was opening up that I might be a good fit for. But in general, I was just trying to kind of get out there and do some networking. Well, a couple of weeks later, he called and said they just invested in a cybersecurity company in St. Louis, and they needed to build out their sales team. And would I have coffee with the founder? Sure, I said. I've got 30 minutes for everyone. Well, that 30 minutes really turned into 90 minutes, but you get my point. And during those 90 minutes, the founder feverishly took notes in his notebook about all of the great advice I was giving him and all the best practices and all the things he needed to do to hire rock star sales reps and make sure that his company was successful. At the end of the 90 minutes, he thanked me, and I could tell he was truly appreciative. And then he said to me, "There is no way I can do any of the things that you just told me needed to be done. I'm not qualified to do any of that. Who can help me do that?" And without hesitation, I said, "I can. I'll help you." And he said, "I thought you had a job." And I said, "Well, sort of. Like, I'm in a transition phase and I'm getting ready to transition out, so I've got some time on my hands. I'll help you interview and hire your first few sales reps. I couldn't believe it came out of my mouth. What am I doing? This isn't what I want to do. I want to be a VP of sales. I'm a W-2 girl. What's this 1099 thing I was about to jump in with both feet on? Well, one thing led to another, and I randomly got a call from a gentleman that I had been a partner with in a company I'd worked in early in my career in SaaS. He asked me to have lunch, which I thought was interesting. I hadn't seen him in years. We caught up and what was going on with the kids and the family. And then I said to him, David, what am I doing here? Why are we having lunch? And David says, well, business isn't so great, and it hasn't been for a couple years, and I'm really not sure what's going on. And I said, oh. I said, well, how can I help? And he said, well, will you come see if you can figure it out? And I said, sure. I've got 30 minutes for everyone. And so over that next Saturday, he and his accountant and I sat down and went through the books. It didn't take me long to figure out that there were some fundamental problems with how they were paying the sales reps, which were causing some profitability issues. And so he thanked me profusely and said, hey, so maybe you could be of more help to us. Are you really happy at your current job? And I'm like, well, it's possible that I'm transitioning out of that job that I love so much. And he goes, oh, well, how about you come and put on a couple of seminars, one for my net new sales team and one for my customer success team. I think they could really benefit from what you have to say. And so I was really grateful for that and said, sure, I'd happy to do that. So I put on a couple of those seminars, couple hours each. And then a week later, he called me out of the blue again and said, hey, I want to have lunch again. And I said, okay. And so we met for lunch. And during lunch, he said to me, this is what you need to be doing. You need to be helping lots of business owners, small business owners, and startup founders. I want to help support you. And I said, well, what did you have in mind? And he said, well, I'll pay you a minimum of 10 hours a week and up to 30 hours a week until you get your business built. And I want you to always guarantee me 10 hours a week, but I'll support you and pay you up to 30 until you find other clients. Now, don't tell anybody, but I affectionately call David my business sugar daddy. He really came in and stepped up in ways that honestly, nobody really had for me. I was shocked and grateful, and I'm still grateful to this day. It didn't take me long, actually, to find my third client, a husband and wife team locally that, surprise, had a SaaS company and was looking for a VP of sales, but only 2 account executives. So I talked them into letting me be their fractional sales leader, and I did that for a year. So I look back on it now, and I can't believe that I said yes to that. But the universe was speaking to me. I could hear it, and I knew that if I said no, I was probably gonna miss a big opportunity. Well, that was 7 years ago. And it's funny, I remember one time kind of 3 years into being a consultant and owning my own business, things weren't going great. I was really struggling and I was frustrated and I was worried and scared. And I said to my dad, I think I might go and start looking for another VP of sales job. And he was like, are you crazy? He's like, this is totally what you're supposed to be doing. He's like, you're one of the most opinionated people I know. And instead of firing you, startup founders are paying you. He's like, this is the perfect job for you. You'll figure this out. Stay with it. Well, sometimes the universe speaks, and then sometimes dad speaks. They were both right. I can't imagine doing anything else. I love so much what I do and helping startup founders and sales reps own their own income and achieve their dreams. So hopefully these 3 lessons have been beneficial for you today. Let's review them quickly. Lesson number 1, your circle matters. Lesson number 2, do the right things and the right things will happen. And lesson 3, when the universe speaks, listen. So hopefully one of those 3 lessons, or maybe all 3 lessons, resonated with you today. Maybe you're in the middle of trying to figure one of those out, or maybe you figured them out in the past. I'd love to hear your story. Drop it in the comments below, or reach out to me on LinkedIn and send me a message. Thanks so much for spending time with me today. And when the universe speaks, or I speak, listen. Until next time.